subscribe.
I'm the angry ops guy, hanging by a thread, living on Prozac, the meds from my head, jaded and burned out, ADHD and overdrive, manage your life, running on a wire, I love it, I hate it, I'm past repair, the angry ops guy, just another day.
Angry Ops Guy, we're back. And I've got, I guess you could call him a guest, like we're doing in season 2 here. But more importantly, I've got one of my favorite people and one of my closest people to me here today. And I have Lenny Dingemans. Lenny is the senior project manager of WSI Comandix. Lenny has worked in the ops trenches with me now going on 15 plus years, even though I say this to everybody and I say it on sales calls and everything else, that Lenny looks like he's still a very young man. And we're going to talk about that whole story of how we found him. But Lenny is truly my right-hand man. He is my lieutenant in the production department. He was, I don't even know if it's fair to say my understudy, but he has been with me for a long, long time. And I'm proud to still work with him and to have him as an integral piece of Comandix, but also to truly in life call him my friend. Lenny, bro, what's going on?
Oh, I mean, long week, long year, long 15.
And we're only in April.
Way too long of 15 years.
No kidding, eh? But
Honestly,
you know, me and Lenny have been through the wars together. We have navigated operations. We've navigated an evolving agency. How the days of building simple websites have turned into building massive websites. And ultimately, Lenny was kind of my succession plan to get myself out of project management and the direct production department so that he could start carving it out on his own. And we're going to talk about a million things today. Well, not a million things, but we're going to talk about a bunch of things. But there is no rhyme and reason, because it's not necessarily about, tell me about your life story, Lenny. We're just going to shoot the shit, because we've been friends a long time and we got stories, and some of them are hilarious and some of them are just, will keep you up at night. But it's fun to reflect where we were when we were kids and where we are now, but also how we both look at operations, because a theme on the podcast when I talk to people, Lenny, is that operations is a grind. And operations, that word grind and how I use it kind of gets overplayed a little bit, but it is a grind, and you have to be wired to understand how to navigate agency ops life. You gotta love it, and you gotta know the pace of it. So, before we get into like stories and stuff, let's just talk operations and just see where it goes. But, what's your thoughts on just what I said there? Like, not everybody's cut out for operations, but not everybody's able to do the agency pace that is required to keep up on the production fulfillment side of operations and digital marketing. And, you've been in it a long time working with me, but now taking that leadership role in production. And why do you think we are wired like that?
I mean, like it's one thing that they don't teach you this in school. That's one thing I think I came out of school, like they don't teach you this stuff in school. They don't tell you how difficult it is, how fast paced, kind of just the working agency lifestyle is. That's one thing they don't tell you. When I got out of school, and I mean, we had more people at the time when I got out of school, so it wasn't as fast paced back then. I don't know what's changed, but it was not that fast paced. But over the years, I think it's just more about learning the agency style. I've just come to like it. Like I feel like when I started, I probably would have never saw myself where I am now. Like I don't think I saw it, but I don't know, you just grow into it.
Well, you got to be battle hardened, right? Like people that come from like you know, a single company with a small marketing department that does, only does tasks or updates or marketing needs for just that brand or whatever else.
Yeah.
They struggle a lot in agency life, and we've seen that
Yeah.
with hires. You're always trying to find the next best. You can't always hire a former agency person. There's a whole story to be said about why agency people are so sought after, because what companies are looking for is the fact that you can push pace. Because we are never working on a single project, a single task. Like you're almost multitasking all day, a million tiles and a million things, because you just have to keep the flow of work moving. And then there's always more stuff coming in. So you almost have to build that callus up to understand what that pace is, to understand how to work at that pace comfortably without wanting to, blow your brains out.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, in I feel like in a regular, like, I'll just put it on a quote unquote corporate job, you've got like your set projects and that's it. You're not bouncing to a client that you haven't talked to in 2 years or 3 years. Like anybody could just pop in, but when you're in sort of that corporate world, it's you've just got your projects and that's it. There's no random people popping in for maintenance and stuff like that. It's just, it's not as, I guess, client heavy. It's more of just like these, you've got 3 projects. That's all you need to handle for, this quarter or however long those projects take. It's never, oh, you've got these 3 projects, you've got maintenance work, you've got, you're dealing with your marketing team as well. Like it's very, very different. And like you said, we've seen people come from that kind of world and coming into agency style. It's a different kind of monster than you know uh, anything else really out there. Like
3 projects to work on in a quarter. Fuck, we work on 3
yeah.
projects. Right out loud. Don't talk to me about 3 projects in a quarter, bro. Chris, we wouldn't have a job if that's what we were doing. But it's it's just so interesting. We talk about it, you and I, because we'll talk to our staff and our colleagues, and you know, um, I think they all do know how to work at a pretty good pace. I mean that respectfully. Like
Yes.
every department and role is different.
Yes.
Remember, we're talking about true operations. We're talking about the fulfillment side. And again, Lenny, you and I, and for people that obviously don't know you, we were the production department for Comandix together for a long time. I'm talking over a decade, if not more.
Yeah.
And with that being said, like, you'll talk to clients or you'll talk to, not suppliers, but like you're working with other people on projects and they're like, oh man, what a crazy week. I'm so overloaded. So much stuff came in and da, da. And me and you kind of give each other the side eye and we're just kind of like, you don't know what pace is, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like it's so different.
It's so different. And how much we can put out in a day, unless if we don't put that much out, it's almost like at the end of the day, me and you are like, I didn't do enough.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel still to this day, no matter what my title is that it's like, if that full 8.5 by 11 page, I'm dating myself, but like 8.5 by 11 page of tasks is not all crossed off and I only got 2 done, that may be perfectly acceptable for anybody, no matter what the job title is, to have, that's your day. And
Yeah.
some people work on a single task the whole day and they need the 7 hours to do it. But it's like in 7, let me go a different direction just for one. Me and you get online in the morning, whatever time that is.
Yeah.
The amount that you and I push out in 30 minutes of starting the day, it dictates how the day is going to go. Because like you said earlier, it's like the monster of it is what's new coming in the inbox, what developers are sending to you to review, new items coming in. So you had this plan of what you wanted to do and get done today. And it's like, as soon as you get on, it's like, nope, that's not going to happen today. Let me just jam the fist in your rear end and play you like a puppet, because you just have to read and react all day to try to, navigate, new opportunities coming in, evaluating things, pushing tasks out, yelling at developers, doing quality assurance, mapping out the next project, And then a client calls you and says, I'm completely unhappy and I don't think you're capable of doing anything you're doing. And you're just like, it's 9:20 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like you've got a list of 10 things that you go into the day with. Like you start at say 8:30, whatever. You go into the day with 10 things on your list. You probably come out of that day probably only completing 2, and you're just like, where did the time exactly go? And then you look at your email and it's just like, oh, I've read and replied to like 20 or 30 different emails from different clients all day long. And it's just like, where did all that time go? Now it's 5:00. Now I should probably finish off the rest of my list. I mean, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's signing off saying, have a nice evening, everybody. And, me and you were like, well, it's time to start. Now it's time to get to work.
Yeah. I mean, that's where, a lot of the late hours came in when, the office was still open and everything.
Oh God, we'll talk about some of those. We got some fun stories there. Like the stuff we put ourselves back in the day when technology and accessibility wasn't as streamlined with technology as it is now.
Yeah.
But it's again, you got to just beat to a different clip. You've got to be able to. I've always called it for myself. It's like as soon as you're on the clock, which is like the minute I wake up, because that's when my brain turns on. But it's like the drum is just beating faster and faster per hour, and I've got to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, like you said, you have that one day where you're like, okay, I have no meetings. I can work on this project and that project. And you're like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
But those are also the days now as older men, proportionately older men, immature older men, that we relish the days where we can actually focus and work now.
Yeah.
And we have to almost build it into our calendars to say, this is my work day this week to fully just work, because every other day has meetings and ad hoc things that come in, and then the server's down, and then this client's API is broken, and then this form isn't routing properly, and it's just like you've got to almost now block time to work, whereas back in the day it was just, hey, Peter, feed us the work and we'll just work on it all day with limited meetings. Especially your story, right? Because you worked side by side with me for all those years in the production department. But in those years, I was the client facing guy, right? You were in the background doing the work.
Yeah.
So you had the ability to say, okay, Mike's going to jam my queue up with a million tasks and updates and projects, but now you see it full circle. You've got to navigate the project, the client, the suppliers, the dev team. And then you've got to talk to other people, and you still got to get your boatload of work done, because it's not like you're just sitting there pushing pencils.
See, I feel like that's the big thing that, all the hires we've brought in over the years, even to fill the, the PM role kind of thing. I think that's why they never worked out, is because they never started at the bottom in an agency. They just come from either a corporate world or a bigger agency kind of thing, and they expect that that's how every agency is run. But like when they've come in and they see like, holy, like you've got, dev team, design team, and you've got like tons of projects, tons of emails coming in every day. It's just like, it's almost like a shock to them. But like for us, because we kind of grew up in WSI, really, it just comes natural to us, and we've been able to, I've learned over the years how to manage it. You've learned over the years how to manage it. So it's just like, I feel like if you're coming from outside, coming into, a production department, I'll talk for production. I don't know about any other department, but production wise, you have to grow up in it. I think you really have to grow up in it. I also feel like if you grow up in it, you'll be able to handle anything that comes your way.
I think so, because again, it's like it's the natural journey, right? And like anything, if it's like when you hear I always admire people that become mechanics and stuff, but they're gearheads and it's their passion or whatever. But they're like, my dad had me in the front seat of his hot rod at 3 years old. I've been a gearhead since I could walk or whatever. But it's the same. It's the same mentality you're trying to share. Is like we grew it through the trenches. So you have practical skills. You have the tactical skills. You can then talk theory or strategy to tie it around that. And that was always like in the old days when we had the boardroom and boardroom meetings, you laugh at this because you used to work across from me. But Peter would, the boardroom's closed. You can hear him talking through the paper thin walls, and then the boardroom door opens. And right away, I'm like, fuck. And I know he's coming to get me.
Here he comes.
Here he comes. And then, excuse me,
door
guys.
like just wide open.
Our door's closed. We're working, not working. We're
pure
watching.
suction.
We're watching. Yeah, the board, the suction vortex between the doors, and he pops in. Excuse me, Mike.
Yeah.
I need you for 2 minutes. That's Peter's classic line. Mike, I need you for 2 minutes. And so I have the worst poker face. So I roll my eyes right at him, like, what do you want? And so I come in, and again, as an older man and hopefully a little bit more mature chief operating officer, he needed me in there to drop the hammer on something tactical to complement what he was saying strategy wise, because he's trying to win the business. And I'm sitting there going like, I got to work, leave me alone. But you're exactly right. Like, you've got to be able to tie those all together. And that's where people suffer. Like, production people aren't necessarily great on the client facing side at times. No. Sometimes they can't connect strategy, but they can do the most kick-ass coding and design and whatever else. But if you're a true operations person that's gone from support to maintenance to building websites to now layering in marketing to now being a project manager or being a VP of operations or whatever else, you have all these tools that are now merged into saying, I'm not just some project manager. Because that's the other thing that really pisses me off about the industry is everybody thinks they're a goddamn project manager. And I'm sorry, like, I could rant about this for hours, but the title project manager could be the most misused title in any company. Oh, I'm a manager. Pushing pencils and sending emails is not being a project manager.
Well, it honestly all comes down to schooling, because like all these schools, they're pushing out these like, oh, you could become a project manager if you take this course kind of thing. And it's just like, you have no idea what it's like. Like, they think that, oh, because you went to school for project management, you're a project manager now and you deserve the title. It's not like that. Nowhere close to it. I think, you have to grow up into a project management role. You can't just flip a switch and you're one. I think that's
absolutely. You have to be. It has to be a true like transition plan to get there. But you also need, again, if you can go through the trenches and be a worker first and have the enthusiasm and drive to want to move up the ladder of seniority and leadership, then those skills that you have make you a better manager, because you know what your developers are trying to say to you. You know what your designer is, how to convey something to a designer. And that's where a lot of managers get into trouble, because they're just trying to facilitate between the two. Whereas I think selfishly, a unique attribute to you and I is I can talk what the developers are saying. I can break it down in language between the customer and the developer to say, understood, Lenny, thank you. I'll have this done in 2 days, versus I don't understand what the hell you copied and pasted here. And then they get it back and you're like, well, the developer's an idiot. He didn't get it. Well, project manager is the person that articulates into the puppet master to drive all of that to move forward. Because, look, in remote agency life, and remote agency life is not new, but people don't have developers on salary anymore sitting at the office twiddling their thumbs. They don't have designers sitting there playing like when you and I started, where you literally had a designer sitting there just playing in Photoshop all day. Now it's about, I got designers here, I got developers there, I've got resources here and there, they're on different time zones, all these things that happen, and you've all got to keep that moving, because guess what? The customer didn't read your email that said, we need 7 days to get this done. And it's, hey, Lenny, where's this at? And you're like, fuck.
But it's also like, what if your designer developers are out? Like if you never had that prior knowledge of doing development, doing design work, they're off today, but ABC client needs this done today. What do you, or else they're going to, let's just say they're going to drop you if you don't get it done today.
Yeah.
Well, If
How
you
many
don't know how
times
to
have we
do
gotten
it,
into a Photoshop file? How many
yeah,
times have you and I gone in through FTP to a coding file
yeah,
and had to make an adjustment because, again, the developers have gone to bed, somebody is sick, somebody quit, and so you're the jack of all trades. You're manager by title, but you're
that's
always a
great.
worker
Yeah,
at heart.
yeah. Like it's great you have the title, but can you do what the team you manage do? Like if they're all gone, can you do what they do on a daily basis? And I think that's where that title gets overused. Is just people say, "Oh, I'm a project manager." Well, can you do what your team does? Because if not, then you can take that title and shove it. Like it's not you're you're not. Like
If you
that's
shove it.
yeah, literally. And I think that's like luckily, I've kind of grew up in the industry. And my brother also did the exact same thing. He did all the hard work. He did the construction work. He did all that stuff and now he's an actual project manager and he can do what the people he managed do. Like he can do what they do. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get over their heads when they're applying to jobs and stuff like that in this kind of field is just, oh yeah, I'm a project manager, I went to school for project. That's great, but like did you build a website on your own? Did you break 500 websites just to get to a good one that you can be proud of, kind of thing? Like it's really um you can have all the schooling in the world, but that I think that doesn't mean be all end all. Like you have to dig through the trenches, like you said, and get to that spot where you can say, you know, I'm an ops person, I'm a project manager, and you know, I can do all the stuff my team can do. Like that's I think that's a big thing. Like if somebody's
Also,
away,
also an industry that is never asleep. It
no,
is never. Every time we think we've learned something, every time we feel we've gotten certified on the next thing that we had to be on, it's like nothing sits still, and you constantly got to be. So again, you have to be a worker in a sense to stay relative and to stay on top of things. Because I swear to God, man, if me or you said like, I'm gonna take 6 months off, we'd be dead coming back, dead.
literally,
It's just that's how fast things move.
yeah, yeah,
Well, there's no particular order in what we're talking about and the randomness of this because nothing is ever organized with me. But let's maybe just shift gears a minute to something that's fun that I probably should have started with. That comes from and I went right to talking about why we got to be the way we got to be, but like I mentioned, you and I have been with Peter for a long time.
yeah,
Um, and, between the two of us, I'm 17 years, you're going on 16 years.
yeah.
That's a lot of time in the agency. And, you know, Peter is obviously very proud of that we're two senior employees that have chosen to steer the ship with him for a long time. But it was funny. I think it was Lori McCullough on another episode that had mentioned to me, and she goes, I don't know if I would want to be on your team with the way you are in the sense of expectations. What say you on that? Because you have stuck by me through thick and thin for a long time, but maybe you could put an answer to Lori's observation that I'm probably not the easiest to work with.
We don't have an HR department.
Boom, mic drop. Podcast.
Mike's the HR department.
I'm not the HR.
I mean,
I'd be fired if we had one. My God.
but I mean, like you just I I just feel like you have to find jokes in your day, or else you're not gonna make it through the day. Like I think that's that's one of the biggest things like I've learned is you have to find the stupid shit. You have to find the happy stuff. You have to find the jokes in the day, or else you just don't get through it. And if you don't have those like inside jokes like we have and stuff like that, it's not gonna be fun. Like it's just not.
So you're trying to say that I'm actually funny and I'm actually a little bit humorous?
Well, people have to understand what humor is, what our humor is. Because I'm not going to single you out because my humor is pretty bad too. But they've got to be able to hook onto the humor, or else there's no HR complaints that they can file.
So you hear that, Lori? Lenny does like working with me, and the real key why he stayed is because we don't have an HR department. Same with me, because I don't want to go to a company that has an HR department, because I'd probably dismissed for saying things that I shouldn't say to people and whatever. And by the way, just while I'm on this tangent, I am not that hard to work for. I think it's fair to say I demand a certain level of quality, and I expect things to be done correctly and honestly and whatnot. But I trust my team members to do what they need to do. I'm maybe too hands-on sometimes because I want the quality to be as such, but I think that's also what defines Comandix in just our small agency, which is we're known for putting out a quality product, whether it's marketing or production. And in a business that, you need to stand out in the sense of something different than any other agency, quality is a very impressive one, especially when you don't want to be charging basement dollars. When you want to be charging a premium, whether it's $10,000 for a website, $50,000 for a website, $5,000 for a marketing strategy, it better be quality so the person goes like, that's a lot better than the one I invested in last time, or I came to you guys because I got dismantled by somebody else. So, what's your thoughts on that in the sense of how we look at quality? And, I'm basically feeding you could slaughter me here if you want to, but if you don't want to, that's kind of you. It's probably payday. So
it is payday. No, well, that's where like quality matters, because if you don't have quality, our reward shelf would be empty. So it clearly shows that quality gets you noticed. It gets you, even just in the WSI network, it gets you noticed. Like I feel like when I started, we were just like a little tiny pod, like just floating in the WSI universe. And now it's just like we actually stand out. We've over the years
we've built the reputation that we can stand behind.
Exactly, and that, you can say, people can say, you're a hard ass all day long, but guess what? You and Peter kind of guided us into that direction. So like, that's great. People can have complaints all day long, but like, where we are because of our quality, like,
yep,
it's unmatched. Do we have our pitfalls here and there? Sure, but like, the quality is always going to be there when it comes to WSI Comandix in general. Like, it's always going to be there, and I think that's one thing that for 15 years you've drilled into my mind, and that's one thing that I want to keep improving on, that we all want to keep improving on as a company, and making sure that quality is 100%, and it's not faulty, so that at the end of the year we can be like, look, we won this award, this award, this award, look at our work, kind of thing. And
hold on, let me go reinforce my shelf behind me. It's getting heavy.
Honestly,
it's like, hold on, I have to move this one down a shelf because the new one's got to go higher up.
We should get all those web awards instead of certificates. We should make it into actual gold and put it on a shelf,
buddy. And you know what? We're being, I'm just being a dick because we're laughing on a Friday afternoon to blow off a long week of work. But this is, like you said, this is the humor we have, because that is what we're proud of. Is, it's a very selfless job to always be putting out for customers that are paying for a service of goods. And a customer can say, thanks, Lenny, appreciate it, Mike. But it's, again, you don't know the pain we went through to build that project or the process. It's like a marriage to evolve that. And then any production person just wants the project done, right? That's the relief of saying it's out, it's done. But to be able to be selected as a finalist, to be able to be voted on by your peers, to be able to have independent bodies that look at you and have best of class or top of industry and whatever else, like you hold your hat on those moments, because you're like, it kind of snaps you back into like that pain, that quality, that Mike pushing me to rip that apart again and again kind of thing. Yep. It pays off, because then the agency can use that as reputation and proposals. Our brand manager, Max, has done a great job building a really impressive awards page on our website that really shows a history of kind of progressive and constant reception of recognition of our awards and our efforts. And again, how do you stand out in a commodity centric industry where every agency says we're good at this and we're good at that? Well, the proof of the pudding is to win awards and to be recognized for your performance efforts. But that does come from establishing a process that, like what have I told you of, like, the one thing I've always kind of said in my dickishness or whatever is, or my bullishness is, don't put shit out on my watch,
Yeah.
because you're better than that. And don't disrespect yourself so that you're going to cause issues with a customer or a supplier, just because you're taking shortcuts. Too many people take shortcuts in life, but it's like, take the extra effort to polish that, because you're building relationships with customers. I think that's something you really held on to, especially as you matured as a person, but also into your role now, is to establish that credibility of quality in taking care of somebody through the process. It's not only, and quality doesn't only mean just the quality of the end project that got launched. Quality means quality in your emails, quality in your conversations, quality in your timely responses, but establish an element of quality so that person just says, like, my money is in good hands.
Yeah.
I trust this person, versus this is just another project manager that's on my project and they're an idiot. And I hate talking to them. Like, hi, I'm Mike. I'm Lenny. You're going to talk to me every week for the next 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to get off on a bad note and then they hate you for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then we all know where my pitfalls were growing up, that I've tried to show you with, at least in what I hope is an element of humility. So you could be better than I ever was, because that's how you learn, is to see where other people's misfortunes are or inadequacies, so that you can carve out your own strategy and plan of how you're going to navigate your own ops. And that's all. And that's also maybe just, as I'm rambling here, but like, that's another comment in itself, is that when you have someone in a role prior to you, and a lot of people have become to trust that person for a long time. So the example here is, I was project manager or senior project manager for over 10 years.
Yep.
Well, when you're kind of Peter's right-hand man, and then people are always like, Mike, it's very hard to get out of the department. Yeah. And then how do you make sure that Lenny, who's the up-and-comer that wants to take that opportunity and grow his next step, and making sure that he can carve out his own identity and not be in your footsteps, or your footprints or whatever else? I think that's super important too, because that's a very hard thing to get out of. The concept of, oh, you're not Mike. Well, that's not fair to the next person, but also, you need to make sure you don't make the same mistakes that I did.
Yeah.
And maybe we should talk about what my mistakes are after you rebuttal here.
I mean, talking about mistakes, we'll talk about my job interview later, but I think the big thing that what you said was tearing things apart. Because I feel like because I'm going to be honest, I got pissed off every time you tear something apart and you tell me this is absolute shit, even though you never said that. I hated it. I freaking hated that shit. Like, I was so pissed off. But guess what? I wouldn't have quality in my work if it wasn't for that. And like, that's where I think some people also don't have that kind of mentorship as well, is they just think what their quality is great, because that's what I thought. I thought whenever I did work, whatever my quality was, that was the be all end all quality, and that's what you're going to get. But you have to go through those hard times to be able to figure out that, like, that's not the end of it. Like, you could get more quality out of your work. You can make it closer and closer to that 100%. That's just for that tearing apart part. But I definitely think that I think I lost my train of thought. Jesus. Oh my God.
We'll edit it out or we'll keep it in, which is hilarious. But let's move right to the point. The point you said, because you want to talk about mistakes. You want to talk about mistakes and so forth. The let's start bringing some stories in, because that's we start talking about ops like we always do, but let's talk some stories. And one we got to start right at the beginning is Lenny's job interview.
You cat?
We are going back 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Now let's set the story up properly. Now Lenny, as much as he's been with us 15 going on 16 years, we abducted Lenny from a side street somewhere in Markham, Ontario, in a panel van that Peter was driving. I opened the sliding door. He was like, "Hey, I'm just going to high school." I dangled a bag of candy, and he tried to get it, and then I abducted him, and then we drove to the office, and that's how we got him, because he was literally
I thought I
12
got
years
dropped
old.
by plane because the airport was right there. So just dropped out of a plane. And I landed somewhere in the building, and that's how you found me.
Do you remember when we were? I don't know if you were in the meeting with me and Peter, or you were at the office, but do you remember when the plane crashed on
Yes.
a block from the office,
Yeah.
in the top of the commercial building?
Like, how do you mess that up? How do you mess that up?
Well,
Jeez.
Jimmy didn't have his pilot license, and he's like,
Yeah.
we've been through a plane crashing a block from the office. But getting back to that story, so we literally abducted Lenny when he was like 12 years old. We got him. We knew that child slave labor was the way to go.
I mean, it worked out, didn't it? Years later,
well done, sir. But so I'm going to tell how I remember a few things, and I want you to come in, and then I'll get the punchline, because it's all about Mike being an asshole, like always. But so Lenny comes in for an interview, and what people need to understand is Lenny actually did his school placement with Peter. How old were you when you did that placement?
I didn't have Facebook here yet. So no,
yeah.
Like six. I think it was 16, because I was in grade 11, and because I was in grade 11, I was doing grade 12 co-op when I was in high school. In grade 11, because they didn't have a course for it in grade 11, but I think I was 16, because I started at WSI when I was when I got hired, I was 18, I think. 17 or 18 or something like that.
God, all the years blur together. So he's a very young man. He comes in. I'm only in my mid 20s, or whatever else. And so he had done. Lenny had done a co-op for school. Peter liked him from day one. Peter likes everybody from day one. And so don't feel special, Lenny. Feel really good about this kid.
Yeah.
And then so Lenny went and completed his school, and then a smart young whippersnapper, he chose to reach out. I'm looking for a job.
Well, hold on.
Oh,
I would have never reached out if Peter didn't tell me to reach out. Because
he tried to get you.
The day that I left co-op, it was my last day. He's just, he at the end of my day, he comes over, shakes my hand, he's just like, when you're done in college, give me a call. We'll see if we have something for you. So I was just like, you know what? 2 months before the end of my college year, I was just like, I'm gonna call Peter. And sweating buckets, I call him. And luckily, I think I just left a voicemail, because I was so scared I called after 5 o'clock, because I knew the hour.
Makes so much sense too, because talking at the beginning of your career was not your forte.
No.
So Lenny calls up Peter. Peter's like, "Sure, come on over." So he comes in for an interview, and I remember this vividly. So we have the boardroom. We got the production room to the left. I'm in one of the offices down the hall, and Peter handles everything there. Again, I'm just an employee working, and Peter wants to give Lenny an entry level, job or opportunity or whatever, and so forth. So they go through the interview, and if I remember correctly, you went to college for graphic design.
Yeah, for print and web. Not just web.
Okay, print and web. And I remember when evaluating you or whatever, you had like a print portfolio, like yeah. I did.
Yeah, I still have it.
So do I. I have mine too. I have mine too at my parents'. My dad's like, "Can you throw this shit out?" I'm like, "No, Dad, keep those memories."
Honestly.
It'll get me my next job once this podcast drops and Peter fires both of us.
Yeah, right. No,
And
and the thing was, I came in with all print work too. I didn't come in.
you had like remember you had the brief, the suitcase, it's all on Bristol board kind of thing, like the hard board, like black area. He comes in with like a suitcase full of his print material. This is for a web job. We do no print work at the time at
Yeah.
all. And so he comes in, and again, Lenny's like 17. He is, he's this young kid, wet under the ears kind of thing. He is nervous as hell, as hell. And Peter, here, air suck out of the doors, opens up, knock, knock. I need you for 2 minutes. I want you to come talk to Lenny. And I want you to put him through a test to see if you like him, so that he'll join the production team to help you. Because even at that time, I was starving for help, with other things I was helping Peter with as the agency was changing. And so I sit down with Lenny and I ask him some questions. And here's another tidbit: don't ever let a 25-year-old or whatever have power, because you don't realize at that age, because again, everything is better as you get experiences. You think you got to go in there and control things, and you got to be that assertive dominance versus just being a mature leader. And I didn't understand at the time. So come in there, I'm like, I got to grill this kid. I always like to play the bad cop. So I grill him with some questions, and Lenny's coughing and he's fumbling. And you can see his hands are sweating. He's just, the poor kid is so uncomfortable. So we get through the questions, and I'm like, okay, Lenny, let's go do an exercise in the other room. So I set up a workstation, and our number one client at the time, we had built their website, the front end website, on Dreamweaver templates. Remember? So Dreamweaver templates is all these pages, everything's manual. God, those days. And so I say to him, okay, this is our number one client. This is their website. I want you to go in. I want you to update the template. I want you to go update this, and I want you to go update that. And I'm going to leave you alone for a little bit. He goes, okay, sure. And I come back like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes later. And I'm like, how's it going? And you're like, not great. I go, what's up? He broke the goddamn website.
And the thing is, all I had to do was just copy and paste.
All you had to do was copy and paste something. That's all you had to do.
Any code.
He broke the entire website. So,
oh my God.
So we're not laughing about it. I have my poker face. I'm like, okay, no problem. I got to go fix it first. I didn't let him do it in the live environment. I had to go figure out what he did. And then, okay, Lenny, nice to meet you, man. I'll talk to you later, whatever. And so Lenny leaves, and I'm like, thank God that's over with. And then Peter comes in with his big smile, and he's like, so what do you think? And I tell him, absolutely not.
None.
He goes, what, why? I really like Lenny. I'm like, he broke the website on a simple task. How do you expect me to push stuff off if that's what's going to happen or whatever? He goes, oh, okay, thanks for your feedback. Well, here's the punchline.
Your feedback does not matter.
an hour later. So I'm like, okay, God, that's over with. See you later there, Lenny, or whatever your name is. An hour later, Peter's like, he starts Monday.
Jeez.
So Peter continues not to listen to anything I say. He does the opposite. And Lenny started the next Monday. And since then, we have been, in our own weird way, inseparable. And we have been a two-headed monster because, the real fun of that story is just to give somebody a chance. Just like I was hoping for a chance. In agency ops, you always want somebody to come in and make a difference immediately. And sometimes that's not the right way to look at it. You got to let people warm up. You got to figure out how to get the best out of people. And also, I realize now, almost 20 years later, Lenny, for me, and I'm just like, what wasn't right for me at that time was to try to, I hope it's not the word bullying, but not to try to make your life difficult, is try to understand how you tick, how to get the best out of you, how to get you out of your shell, because I am an intimidating person. I'm intense, and I can have a tone to me and stuff like that. It's not meant to belittle or to put somebody down, but I'm direct and kind of blunt in the way I say things. But at that time, being a young man, you didn't have the work experience or the tough skin to understand what to do. And so again, it's just human nature. But You know, within a month, you're figuring out what you're doing, and you're learning, and you're making your slice of what can be done, and you keep learning, and then you keep trusting to give more and more, and then all of a sudden, me and you are the only two left in the production department, right? Remember
Yeah.
that? Remember how much Commandex changed?
That was quick when everything changed.
Yeah,
So,
we had a full-time developer
yeah.
internally. We had a full-time designer. We had a full-time copywriter. But before our Terran that we've had now for a decade, but we had all those things. And then it was like one person got let go, two people chose to go to other jobs and so forth. So now here's the production department at Commandex, which has always had like 5 or 6 guys in it. And now it's me and you to spearhead all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where we really carved out our teeth. But that's a story I tell all the time, not to make fun of you at all. It's more to make fun of me, but just hilarious. Like, I didn't want this kid at all, and now he's my right-hand man. It's funny how that works.
It's the only thing left from your department.
Yeah, I'm like, this is going to go well. Let me just pass this. Hey, Lenny, can you change these 2 words on this page and just hope for the best?
I mean, you also got to look at it in a good one, right? Like, it's, people left, but like, I don't even think we would be if they were still around.
I
Not
completely agree.
like anybody, but like, I feel like if we weren't, if we didn't go through those changes and all the changes leading up to where we are now, like, just who knows where we would be? Like, who knows where WSI would be?
It's hard to think, eh? It's like, it's amazing what's life circumstance and life changes or work changes and how it changes the director of where we go or if we stay. But that allowed opportunity for you and I, and also fairness, because we've been with Peter so long. I'm not picking on him at all. It's how we show love to him. He's Peter. And his quirks and everything else, but he saw a lot in you and I. Peter has always been a great judge of character of the person. Like Peter always says to you and I, you can teach skills, and you can invest in education to help somebody, but you can't teach attitude. And he's a very good character of, who's a good person, and seeing more in them. Like, I've told you this before about me. Like, when he wanted to put me in the project manager role, this is going back even before you, I tell him no. He pulls me into his office. He's like, that big smile. He's like, Mike, how would you like to be my project manager? And I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't want the pressure.
Yeah.
Because at that time I'm insecure. I can't do this. I don't have formal training. I'm not a project manager. I'm going to fail. All the wrong things to think. And what did he say to me? He goes, you start tomorrow. Again, like, he doesn't listen to my feedback. He just tells me what I'm going to do. Okay. And then here I am now running his agency. So, but he's always had that great of knowing that, and he's said to us, he's like, if you stay with me, or if you stay, stick with me, he goes, I will take care of you. And and that has been one of the most kind of grounding things that have always grounded me through the goods and bads of that kind of verbal promise of, I got your back, you got mine. And I think you also have adopted that too, in the same thing, whether it's with me, but also with Peter, because we are a 3-headed monster being with Commandex as long as we have.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's one thing. That's one thing he said that always stuck out with me. Is just like, if, like, I will never fail you if you don't fail me, kind of thing. And it's just like, absolutely. Like, we've had all these changes over the years, and it's just like, he's never, not paid my paycheck. Like, that's a big thing for me. And even though our company was not doing well at the beginning, like, a lot of people don't know, but like, we weren't where we are today. It does definitely.
Absolutely.
Like, and we had gone through so many changes over the years, like back then, and it was tough. But like, one thing that, Peter always believed in people. And if you don't have that belief in somebody, like, they're not going to work out. And he, like you said, he's a good judge of character when it comes to picking people for his company. Like, it's, I think he's made all the right choices. He made a lot of really, really good choices. And that kind of, I think that's why we both stick around. It's because, like, those choices he made have been for the good, and it's made our lives happier.
Yep. And like me and you have talked about this in our private time when we talk and so forth, is saying like some people chase opportunity, some
Yeah.
people chase more money, and rightfully so. You got to do what you got to do, and at the end of the day, a job is classified as a job. But if you somebody, I'm just I would love your opinion on this. I'm just a proponent that if somebody is willing to give you an opportunity, truly an opportunity, and says to you, like, Lenny, you can carve out your future how
Yep.
you want it here and so forth, like the autonomy, let's call it. And then on top of that, they don't steer you wrong in the sense, like you said, a check does, in the old days of checks. Remember, you want to talk about dating ourselves. Remember Peter used to come into our rooms at the office and hand
Oh
us a
my
check and
God.
a handshake every Friday
hand.
at like 3:00. Lenny, here you are. Thank you very
Oh my
much.
God.
Thank you very much.
Remember the days that he would be in a meeting around that time and you just be like shaking, like, is he gonna come? It's 5:15. Why is my paycheck on my desk? And then he comes really quickly because he told his, whatever meeting he was having. So just hold on, I gotta do something. And he goes and he like rushes around the office, shakes every hand, just here's a
The
paycheck.
biggest gift to Peter ever was getting automatic payroll. It just caught down so much pressure from it. And then the best part is we get our checks. And then when I moved to Richmond Hill there, when I was closer to you, after the first wave of time when I was farther away, then we'd see each other in the parking lot cashing our checks together. It's like, see,
Honestly.
but going back to it, like, it's, I was saying, like, why would you want to leave? When somebody respects you, somebody wants to give you an opportunity to grow your own future and succeed and hopefully attain what you're trying to do, and tells you that they will work. I'm talking for Peter. They will work hard to create the stability that good employees will want to stay, because then I don't understand why you would shop around, and you may not make $50,000 more a year, depending on the size of the agency or your role or how much the agency can pay. That's not the point. But it's to be respected and to know that I'm trusted to navigate this, and also to make sure that somebody's not on your shoulder every day looking at your fucking job and trusting you to do what they pay you to do. And Peter has always been like that with me and you.
Yeah, instead, especially the whole looking over your shoulder thing. Like I think that was a big part of um
That's such a
what we
cancer, Lenny, when people do
it
that. My
is.
God.
Like just constantly looking over your shoulder, seeing what you're doing all the time. Like, are you getting everything done? And it's nice to have that trust within an agency where, you know, your manager, your boss, or your boss's boss doesn't have to worry about what you're doing. And I think that's a big thing that you also have to grow up in the agency to understand, is like, that trust has to be built before you can, let somebody go on their own, in their own department. And I think
Yeah.
that it's taken 15 years, but I think to be honest, I think that's finally happened in production. It's like you're finally able to be like, let me just handle your department.
And that's
Don't
the
worry.
greatest gift. That's the greatest gift to me now as a leader, at a different intensity of where my focus is necessary. And the business has shifted far more into marketing first versus production first. To just know that, like I said, you're my anchor in production. Like Peter has said to you and I numerous times, remember in all the volatility of the marketing days back then, he would say, like, this department, he would be frustrated because people would come and go, or we'd have issues as performance needs were getting more intense as the digital marketing was increasing. But he would say, he goes, I never worry about the production department. You and Lenny got it. And that was the nicest compliment, just because he goes, as long as you guys are on the production side, he goes, I can sleep well. And that's kind of why we go to bat for him, right? Because that's the stuff that we did. And he showed us respect when we were young men and didn't deserve that respect, but he wanted to trust us to be better and to do what we want to do. And even to this day, he stays out of our way because he knows that he's got people that have the best interest of Comandix at the front. And that's also important, because in leadership, you need to trust your people. Otherwise, you are micromanaging.
Yeah.
And then Peter can't do what he does best.
Yeah.
So let's talk a couple stories, because that's enough about ops, but let's talk about stories that are fun. So there's another one I want to bring up here. So again, Lenny and I are idiots. Okay. Like you said, you got to understand humor. So we are just, well, like me and Jack in a different way, but we are just children in male bodies. Okay. So Lenny and I have had this kind of running gag with each other that, you know, we call ourselves bros. We are brothers. We're not from the same mother, but we are brothers. But we call each other bros. So, you know, and not many days go by where I'm like, you know, hi Lenny, how are you? I'm like, bro. And so Lenny will just be like, bro. And we just go back and forth. But it goes on like a gag. It's like, so he'll be, I'll be like, bro. And he'll be like, bro. And I'll be like, bro. So and don't bro me, bro. So that we built this whole broism thing this is going back, oh God, at least a decade.
I mean, I mean, we were in the same room together, so you had to do something.
We had to do something, but let's also set this up properly is because we had a pretty good pad. We somehow convinced Peter to blow out the boardroom. And so he had the boardroom all set up, and it could take like 12 people, and it had a board and a projector and it was a really nice boardroom. And then Peter was like, let's redo the office one day. And so we got him to take the old production department out. We put the boardroom in there, and it still looked nice right up to the end when we closed up the office. It was a good boardroom, but we got the bigger boardroom and we turned it into the production department. And the best part about it was only me and you. So we had these huge like executive desks, wrap around L executive desks that we butted on one side, and then Peter's ancient sofa that he brought from like Germany that he would never get. He still hasn't. It's still at home. We had the sofa in our room, and then we had this big. Remember, Peter brought this big, huge flat screen TV, but we didn't have any cable at the end, and we didn't have any streaming at the time. So we got this TV that can't do anything. So then Lenny decides. He's like, well, I'm going to set this up with another tower we have. Okay. And so we can stream and do stuff. So we're in our production room and so forth. We got this sweet layout. We got music thumping because Lenny's got subwoofers going everywhere. And we're in this room and we're watching wrestling, or we got wrestling on the background on YouTube on the TV because that's all we can get. And so like every day we've got like a Royal Rumble on, watching guys come in because we're both wrestling fans at the time. Well, I still am. And Peter like comes in and he doesn't say anything, but like he looks at the TV and you could tell he's like, is this a good use of my money that you two are watching Roro? But again, I think it's because he trusted us. He let it slide. It's like, have some fun. And we're like, oh, we're just watching at lunch break or whatever else. And then realize it's like 4:00 in the afternoon. And
it's just on.
Hey, we got work done, by the way. So, Peter, if you're going to listen to this, we never ever took advantage of you, but we liked our wrestling.
Yeah.
But so we sabotaged that whole thing, but we have this bro thing going on. And now what's happened is the company's changing, and we bring on a new guy. And you know, I don't even know where he is in the world, so I don't care. His name was Mo. He's a good dude at the time, and we liked him. We were much smaller at the time than we are now, per se. And so Mo was handling the, if I remember correctly, he was handling the marketing side of things. It was paid advertising. And then you're in production. And so one day he comes up to us in the hallway. He comes through the hallway and he comes to our production room or whatever else. And he walks in and Peter's in there talking to us. And Peter's like, how's the bro club? Because we had built our own little mock bro club. Meaning like like children like with a fort, like, you know, this is the bro club, do not enter. And so Peter comes in, he goes, how's the bro club doing? So Mo walks in, he goes, how do I become part of the bro club? And Lenny looks right at him with a finger and says, you'll never be a part of the bro club.
Well, the thing is, why do you have to be so worried about this bro club? Like, Peter wasn't even a part of it.
He wasn't even a part of it. Nobody was a part of it because it didn't even exist. It was just stupid because we're idiots.
Guess what? It was the only way to get through the days. I'm sorry.
The only way to get through the day was to just banter each other and say, bro, they were having fun. Getting through this sludge of ops and website development. So we don't think anything of it because we're both sarcastic and we can be a bit bullish and we're like, whatever. Well, like the next day, Peter pulls me and Lenny aside and closes the door in the production room. And he's like, hey guys, Mo approached me and he's really upset. He's like, you know, that he wasn't allowed to be part of the bro club. And me and Lenny both look at each other like, are you fucking serious? Like, what do you want? So but Peter's looking at it in the sense of like employee retention. Like we've carved a wedge in this small little team. And we're like, sorry, Peter, we're just having some fun. And he goes, oh, I know. But like, we need to smooth this out. And we're like, how are we going to smooth this out? So Lenny comes up with the idea, and you take this part over because it's just hilarious, and I'll show you the punchline. So what did you do based on Peter's ask?
Yeah. So I ended up I came up with the idea, oh, you know what? Let's just create him a certificate. Maybe he'll just feel more, more official, even though Bro Club doesn't exist, but it does. Creating this certificate. So I go on to iStock and I buy this template, and I'm just, put Bro Club on it, put his full name, put the
honorary member of the Bro Club, Mo, like a certificate, and you framed it.
I grabbed one of the frames from the boardroom because we just have frames laying around everywhere. So I grabbed one, put it in it. We both go up to his office, just like, hey, like, you're part of the Bro Club now, kind of thing.
So Lenny literally goes and gives him this certificate, this framed certificate of the Bro Club. And what does he do? Not only is he thrilled, he tacks it on his office wall, and he has it up on the wall as an honor. He's got no certifications. Google PPC certified, AdWords certified, and links, nothing like that. He's got one certificate on his bare wall. It says I don't remember the Bro Club. The best part about it is you think the story ends there. Unfortunately, within the next 6 months, gentleman decides to resign. Hold on, not because of us. We righted that ship.
No, yeah.
He was actually getting out of the industry because he was actually more he was avid to get his pilot license.
Yeah.
And he wanted to actually, I think, be like a commercial pilot. Maybe he was the one that actually crashed the plane on top of Renfrew. I don't know.
I crashed it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So he resigns. And okay, at that time, another guy gone, what are you going to do? But the best part is you'd think like, oh, at those days, nobody had anything in their offices to take with them. It wasn't like, here's your cardboard box of stuff.
Yeah.
But the one thing he took with him when he left, and we shook hands and going to miss you, man, and thanks everyone else. But he says, I'm taking my Bro Club certificate. And he took it with him on the exit.
Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Like, Jesus.
Should we talk about when we had another employee? We won't use necessarily his name, but when we didn't love him a lot because we knew he wasn't a good fit, and we threatened to cut his ponytail.
Oh, ponytail guy. Yeah. Oh boy. Every day with those scissors just walking by.
That's the whole part. We will walk past his office because we knew he wasn't doing anything. And Lenny had a pair of scissors, and he's just walking by. Snip, 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 snip. All you hear is the scissors like a barber cutting to imply that it's like, buddy, you better do something, otherwise that ponytail's going to go.
I think he never did anything. So
he never did anything.
I mean, and he also disappeared. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows where he went. Like one day, remember what happened with him too? Like that guy there, he didn't resign. He just didn't show up one day.
Yeah.
And Peter's like calling the contact number because nobody had cell phones and stuff. And he's just like, where are you? He just disappeared. To this day, we don't know what happened to him.
No.
We don't know if it was a personal circumstance. He was a salary employee, and he just disappeared one day. Maybe because of us. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. He got tired of the haircut jokes.
I'm telling you, if I had any reputation left after these stories, it's down the toilet because we sound like the biggest bullies. But we didn't mean any harm. We were just having fun to try to get through it by building certificates and snipping scissors or whatever else. But it was like, to say something maybe funny, but it was also the way we were because, again, we were very protective of Comandix. And if you didn't jive with us and jive with Peter, it wasn't like we were going to let you know it, but we weren't going to warm up to you. No. You had to prove yourself because we cut our teeth dying in production department to take care of Peter's operations. So we knew what it took to work. We knew what the work ethic, and we knew how to show results. And we knew that if other people in the team needed to rely on us, you could rely on us. And I still have a hard time with that because it's like, you got to cut your teeth, man.
Yeah. That's why we worked our asses off, I think, for those first bunch of years when people left and we were kind of just left there alone in the production department having to do marketing's job as well. Like that, I think those were the hard years, but they were also like the fun years to get through because you work
those were the growing years, right? Those were the bonding years. Me and you, because Peter didn't pay overtime because, again, we were salaried employees. We weren't contractors. And Peter has never asked anybody to work an hour overtime ever.
Yeah.
But we knew in our production queue, based on our board, that we were behind because of what was going on at that time for the agency and stuff. And we had to pick up the slack. So me and you committed without even being asked. We're like, Peter, we're going to come in Friday night. We're going to come in Saturday at 4:00, and we would work till 11:00 at night. And we come back on Sunday. When we just were there to work because we get stuff. So we'd be ordering pizza and just we put the hockey game on again, that TV if we could get it, and we were just trying to work through things because, you know, like, but who does that? But again, it was the loyalty and the respect that we took pride of our jobs, and he needed us. But that's where we bonded because we had to support each other. I had a certain set of skills, you had a certain set of skills, and we're working together, and we got through those. But man, there were some years there that just, you know, and also we used to be a production department back in the day where we would push out 25 to 30 website launches a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the business is different now. It's very much more marketing first, but in those days we were doing tons of website projects.
Yeah.
God,
those are the years.
Those are the years, man. It ages you, but in a good way, to remember some of the stuff that got us here to be able to talk, hopefully, and tell you on. Maybe as I'm looking at the time here, because it is end of day Friday and we got to get out of here. And, you know, this was just meant to be fun to kind of talk shop and a little bit of stories. But is there any story on your side that stands out for you that maybe I didn't uncover or whatever else that either makes you laugh or just stands out about me and you and Comandix?
I mean, if you want to go to MTV, you know, the Mad Libs, Coach Hines, please.
No, God!
Just the ins. I think the way we've
I just forgot about that. That's been a gag for me and you forever. Is just
like
Mad TV
of that, and like I think that's what's gotten, like, stupid shit like that is what has gotten us through all those years.
The Cheetos, the cat commercials, where it's like, hey, Lenny, take a look at this. You're like, what is this nonsense? It's like, hey, sweet. It's a mattress store, and this idiot salesperson in Chester the cat have built a fort of mattresses. And it's like, hey, sweet fort, can I come up? And Chester's like, depends on the it depends. What's the password? The guy thinks he's like, mattress? And it's like, they're startled that the guy figured out the password. Come on up.
Oh my gosh!
There's the Cheetos commercial we used to watch. Like, we've watched way too much YouTube on Peter's dime. We get that. But the Coach Hines one is one of my favorites because me and you have, again, another one of those things where it's like, even now I'll be like, hey, Lenny, thanks so much for everything you've done on this project and whatever. And all he replies back to me on MS Teams is, Coach Hines, please. Because we're playing off of the gags from the old comedy skits and whatever else. But it's like, it goes back to like what Lenny said is, we have created our own humor inside a very stressful agency fulfillment style life. And that's really key. You know, if you're fortunate to earn friendship with people and have a similar sense of humor that you can use sarcasm or humor to navigate the day, it makes the day more fun. You got to make each other laugh because, you know, I'm usually stressed out of my mind. Lenny can know better than anybody. And he's just like, what's up? And he'll just say something to make you laugh. And all of a sudden you snap back into gear and you get going. You know, but we got stories about hosting servers being down and hacks and everything else, maybe for another time at another place, because we could talk for hours about this. But just some of the stories, and we'll see how this all comes together when we push it live. But I think the real thing, like you said, is, you know, find humor in the day, whatever that is to you, that you can brush it off. Make sure that, you know, you have I think it's also important you have a good relationship with your boss or your reporting manager. Like, find a friendship with them. They're going to be your friend to do anything and everything for. But, you know, sometimes you get fortunate with those things. And if you like who you work with, it makes the day easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how I feel about you is like, you know, you make me laugh. I try to make you laugh. We've been there for each other in moments of weakness, in moments of personal issues. You know, you've been there for me with stuff, been there, you know, and I'm super proud, you know, that out of anything, you know, you and Peter were at my wedding. You know what I mean? And who, you know, some people invite too, maybe, you know, I had a very private wedding, 36 people in the backyard, intimate kind of thing and stuff. But, you made that list because, you know, you're not just a work colleague. And that's not to belittle or disrespect any work colleague, but it's like, even Peter was humbled. He's like, really? I'm like, why wouldn't I want to have you? You're my friend. You're my employer. You're somebody I've carved out, you know, a third of my life with, if not more.
Yeah.
Same thing with you. You know, based on your age, how old are you now?
My life.
Yeah,
34.
yeah, 34. Half of your life has been with me. That's terrible.
Oh my
But
god.
I also got to meet your lovely bride Rachel when she first came into the picture, and I've seen your relationship blossom into what it is now. You know, Craig, again, 16-year-old kid comes in, no facial hair, no experience, doesn't know how to talk. Now he's sitting here recording a podcast, married. You know, you got yourself a home and a family, and you know, dogs, and you know, you're carving out your own role and everything else. Like, that's the fun. You know, we always talk about ops and talk about the bullshit and what else, but the true greatness of our longevity is the friendship and watching each other grow up. And I think if Peter was here as well as the three-headed of the monster, he would probably say that's probably what his biggest joy in being an agency owner is he's seen two kids
Grow up.
blossom like his own children
Yeah.
into something. And I think that's as an older man now, you know, getting ready for retirement in upcoming years. That's what he relishes is, you know, and we go talk about these stories about where we started and where we're going.
Yeah, and I think one big thing that always stuck out with me with Peter was he always treated me like his kid. Even in the hardest of times, he always treated me like his kid, and he always said, "You're like a kid. You know, you're like the son to me," kind of thing. And that's, I think that just sticks with me, and it just sticks with why I stick around is because like Peter doesn't. I feel like not. I mean, anywhere else you go, I don't think you would ever get that out of a president of a company.
I don't think so either. And that's also the beauty of working in small business and
Yeah,
small agency life in a sense is you are a person versus a unit or a number.
yep,
Profitability doesn't necessarily always dictate the all the decisions that have to go on.
yeah,
And again, and then you got to get a little bit of luck to find an ownership leader that is willing to take a chance on people, trust them, and give them the respect that they maybe haven't deserved or earned yet as a way to build their confidence into what you see he saw us to become, and
yeah,
what he wanted us to be, which is, and that's the dream I think of any ownership is to find those people that you can have as a foundational layer that you can trust because like you said, father time is undefeated and Peter can't do this for another 30 years, but you know he's going to have the peace of mind that he's got at least two people that are committed to ensuring that Comandix will continue to be successful, and he'll be taken care of as he takes pressure off of himself, which is rightfully deserved after 25 plus years in the industry.
yeah, yeah. Exactly,
So
exactly.
shout out to Boss Man Peter.
Yeah,
You know,
honestly.
uh, man, what a roller coaster! And I know this episode will be all over the place, but interesting stories of just how where we came from and what we got to. But you know, as we wrap up here, I want to say for a moment, which will make you uncomfortable because you don't take praise well,
As always.
and
Yeah,
you're a very very humble man. You are, but um, I am extremely proud, first and foremost, of who you have become. Put all the jokes aside about your hiring. That was just the journey to get here. But you are truly my lieutenant. And you are someone that I trust explicitly to get the job done. I know that you have got the client's best interest in mind, and I know that I don't have to worry about things. But I'm just impressed on how you've matured as a man and as an employee and how you've taken the senior project manager role and turned it into your own. And I've said this to you on camera, and I'm going to say it here. I honestly think at this level of where you're at in your career, you're already a better project manager than I ever was. I truthfully mean that. I think you have a better acumen for it. I think you have a better personality and ability to see it for what it is than how kind of intense and worrisome I could be. Um, and I think there's great things coming for you in the future, not only at Comandix, but for you know the next steps for wherever you want to be. As you know, you're going to get tired of project management at some point. Um,
highly doubt that.
And lastly on that, I am very blessed and fortunate to truthfully call you my friend.
I
You are
appreciate
not a work friend. You are my friend in life. Like I said, I know your family, I know your wife, and I'm very fortunate that our paths have crossed. And I look forward to navigating digital marketing and AI and whatever other bullshit for years to come, my man. So I just wanted to reflect on that before we wrap up.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, wouldn't have been able to get here without your mentorship, even though you never admit to it, but you were a mentor for me, so you know it. And
I just nudged you in the right direction on a couple of things across the years. That's all.
well, no, you showed me a lot, and like, I honestly wouldn't be where I am in the management position that I am without like a mentor like you pushing me, because I think that's what I needed. Everybody's different, but I think I needed that massive push every day just to get where I'm going. Like, and mentorship is you never say it, but you were a mentor for me, still are for me on a day to day basis. So
Well,
thank you
we'll keep
for
doing it,
getting
brother.
where I
My
am.
pleasure. My absolute pleasure. And I'll go to bat for you just like you go to bat for me, just like Peter goes to bat for us. And that's one of the wonderful dynamics of our agency is what we've built in that trust and relationship across the three of us. So on that note, we're going to get out of here because it's Friday afternoon and we're tired, and that's enough of ops for this week because something will burn and we'll deal with it on Monday. So,
Yep.
Angry Ops Guy, we're available on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, Angry Ops Guy _WSI. New episodes dropping every 2 weeks. New ops songs that nobody listens to, including Lenny, I drop for my own amusement. And yeah, we'll be back with more. So on that note, bro,
bro.
don't bro me, bro.
Sorry, Ops Mike, your email went to John.